finally found it. All of our dreams are now going to come true. Come here. Look. Look, it's the money tree. In this video, we are going to answer the #1 question that we always get about how we create an income from the road. Plus, we're going to give you 3 things that you must have if you want to work and travel, and then 9 different ways that you can work and travel at the same time. And you'll want to make sure to watch to the end, because I'm going to share the #1 job that people think they're going to do from the road that just doesn't pan out. So you want to make sure to watch for that.
We are Charity, Ben, Dakota, and Trinity. We decided we didn't want to wait for a life of adventure. So in 2017, we bought our first RV and set off to live a life of travel in the USA. We've visited over 38 states in 3 years and have many more to go. Follow along to learn all the best places to see, RV and travel tips, and much more.
So first of all, I want to share with you what it is that we do for work, which has actually changed somewhat over the past 4 years of RV living. And then we'll get into the things that you need to work from the road and ideas for things that you can do while you're traveling. So what we do for work is we actually had this goal of time and location freedom. And I'll put a link above for a video that we did just recently, kind of about our whole journey and our story towards that time and location freedom. When we first started, what we did is we had a physical products business selling products on Amazon. So what we did is we took a business training that taught us how to create a private label brand in a private label business. So in short, the business that we started has to do with private labeling products, selling those products on Amazon under our own brand. And so we actually did that for 5 years, and we do also still do that under this brand of Grateful Glamper. And we recently sold that very first brand that we started on Amazon to a new buyer, which is really kind of what a lot of people that do that type of business do, where they start a brand with selling physical products, they build it up to a certain point, sell it, and kind of rinse and repeat. How we got our start was a training called the Amazing Selling Machine, and I'll put a link for that below as well. And I'll talk a little bit later in the video how we actually now have used our expertise in selling on Amazon for another type of business. So more on that here in just a few minutes. What we do now is we still have a few products on Amazon under the Grateful Glamper brand, but we really focus on these videos, bringing great content to you week in, week out, working on our blog, but we also provide coaching for people that are selling on Amazon that just need some help or just aren't quite sure how this whole thing works, and maybe they didn't have just the same type of training that we had and they need help. So we provide a lot of coaching and consulting to other people that are selling on Amazon or have physical products businesses online. If you want to work and travel at the same time, there are 3 things that you absolutely must have. #1, you must have a good internet connection, a good, solid internet connection. Don't rely on campground Wi-Fi. And I'll put a link above and also at the end of this video for a video that we've done on how we stay connected on the road, how we make sure that we always have a good, solid internet connection, and kind of what our setup looks like for mobile internet. Here's a hint. It's not super elaborate and it's not super technical. Anyone can have the similar setup that we have for not a lot of money. #2, absolute must have if you plan on working while that you're on the road and traveling, is a laptop. You need to be able to be mobile. A lot of times we actually like working from coffee shops when we can, just because they have strong internet. We have strong internet at the RV too, but sometimes you can find even better internet at a coffee shop. Plus, I've found for me especially, I can be a little bit more laser focused when I'm in that type of an environment Then maybe when I'm at the campground and the kids are running around and the dog and the cat are going at it and all the things. So every once in a while, it's nice to go work from a coffee shop. You need something that's a portable device you can take with you. Number 3, a must-have is some organizational skills and self-discipline. When you are working and traveling, it can be super easy to want to put off work and just go adventure and just go have fun. You actually have to be able to carve out that time to get work done while you're still on the road. So we're gonna talk about 9 different ways to work while traveling. But before we do, we want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Campground Views. We are loving the Campground Views tool, and this is our absolute new go-to tool for booking campsites. For us, we have a 40-foot motorhome, and so knowing that we can fit in a campsite and knowing that there's not any obstacles in that campsite when we go to back in or put out our slides, or in our particular situation, being able to access the storage compartments on the side is very, very important. And there's been so many times that we've booked a site in a national forest or in a national park. All you can see is just a visual, drawn out map, and you don't have an idea of what that site looks like, how long it is, what's in the site. And so at Campground Views, we can now actually see the site before that we book it, make sure that the site's gonna work for us, for our rig, have adequate parking, we can access everything that we need to access, and choose the best site at the park as well. So it's our new go-to tool for booking all of our stays, and you can check it out at the link below or gratefulglamper.com/campground views. So 9 ways to work while still traveling. Number 1, remote work positions for other companies. There are many types of positions that you can work those jobs remotely. And one thing you could even do is potentially negotiate with your current employer if your current job could even be done remotely. Some examples of remote positions for other companies would include things like a virtual assistant, which we actually have that works in our business that works completely remote, customer service rep or tech support. And in just a little bit of research that I did, I found dozens of companies like Billtrust, Kimi, Constant Contact, Apple, Zapier, different insurance companies, and many more that offer fully remote positions, and they actually pay pretty stinking well. So all of these will be in the blog post that corresponds with this video. So you can check those out and learn more over on the blog at gratefulglamper.com. Number 2, online teaching. We've seen some pretty creative things that people have done on the road in their RV when it comes to teaching, including piano lessons online, violin lessons online, teaching English to foreign students online. One of my personal favorites that is actually a service we use is an online tutor for our son. Now, our son has dyslexia on a pretty moderate scale, and so he receives specialized tutoring for that dyslexia to help him learn how to spell and read and do math and just basically be able to learn in a way that his brain understands. The program that is being used to help him along the way was developed by a gal named Susan Barton, and it's called the Barton Program. And so he has a tutor that has been trained for the Barton program to provide tutoring for him, and it's all done online, and it has helped him leaps and bounds. And so that's another idea for something that you can do online remotely from a teaching perspective as well. When we were in Miami last spring, we actually had a tour guide tell us that she taught an online class on how to smoke cigars. So really, if it's something that you feel like people are wanting to learn, you could potentially teach it online from the road. Number 3, Online coaching, consulting, and counseling. There are many options for online counseling and coaching and just people looking for therapists right now through organizations like betterhelp.com. If you have more knowledge about something than someone else, you can share that knowledge and expertise in a consulting or in a coaching manner, and people are willing to pay for coaching and consulting. We've paid for coaching many, many times when it comes to things like marriage and family and business and how to run a business and even strategies for our YouTube channel, all sorts of things that we've sought services for that have been completely done online. Number 4, temporary jobs that can be seasonal. So some great examples of this are things like work camping at a campground or even work camping in a seasonal area. So for example, we know of some RVers that actually worked this summer at a shop in West Yellowstone and actually had their campsite provided for them and then got paid to work in the shop in West Yellowstone. There's lots of different towns that are busy during the summers or during high tourist types of seasons that are always needing seasonal type of help. And that's a great way that you can travel from place to place and work along the way. So some other ideas for positions like that would be a surf instructor, a ski instructor, a scuba instructor.
Hi, Julian. How you doing? I'm Scuba Sam, Scuba Steve's father.
Maybe even a boat captain. Down in the Florida Keys, there's all sorts of fishing charters and scuba charters and snorkel trips, all sorts of things that can be done kind of on a seasonal type of basis. And there's also things like farmers that need help with bringing in their harvest. So just a little bit of poking around on the internet definitely can prove to be fruitful in finding some of those positions that you can do and travel from place to place while you're doing them. Number 5, software development, app development, and website development. Most all of these types of positions are remote types of positions. In fact, you can even get a Google training certificate, and we'll put a link in the description below and over on our blog post to get training directly from Google for some of these types of positions. And the training that Google offers actually is not super time involved and it's not super expensive, and the jobs are in pretty high demand. So that's something that you can consider if you're willing to look at a career shift or if you're willing to look at doing something new and getting some training to be able to take your show on the road. Number 6, social media manager. And I've actually done this on a full-time basis, and I still do this on a part-time basis now as well. So in my former life, I worked in the automotive industry for over a decade on the service side. And so what I did is I actually managed some social media pages for a company that sells basically chemicals and things like that geared towards the automotive industry. So I worked with 5 different distributorships to manage their social media pages and create contact and just interact with people on social media. So if you have a background in a specific industry or a lot of knowledge about a specific industry, a social media manager could be a great position that you could work from the road. And especially if you have kind of an outgoing personality, if you're already spending a ton of time on Facebook and Instagram, then why not dive into that on more of a professional basis? There's also a ton of online courses out there on how to create content specifically for social media platforms, and social media managers are always in high demand. Number 7, freelancing. Now, this can really be done with whatever skill that you might have. So whether you've done copy editing, video editing, graphic design, just any type of skill that you may already possess, you could definitely take that skill and freelance with that particular skill. There's a lot of different websites that you can list yourself on and your types of services on, or even just do some searches for businesses that are looking for those types of skill sets and services that you provide. And basically you become part of the gig working economy. Number 8, start your own business. So we started a physical products business of selling physical products online. You could do handmade items and open an Etsy shop. There's a ton of demand for handcrafted items at local farmers markets. We know of an RV family right now that's staying in the Florida Keys for the winter, and they're taking advantage of the farmers markets that happen down in that area on the weekends. Custom built items always have a market as well. So if you could take your tools and on the road and work on those custom made items, why not? And then ship them out as orders come in. And you could always start your own mobile RV tech or RV wash business as well. There's plenty of demand for that at most any campground that you find yourself in. Number 9 is a multi-level marketing business. Now, if you enjoy this particular business model, it's not for everyone, but some people really enjoy that type of business model. And that's something that you can definitely do 100% remotely on the road. There's so many people that actually run a MLM business based entirely on social media, which of course can happen from anywhere. So remember I told you I was going to share the number 1 job that will not make you money on the road, that everyone thinks that you will. So what that is becoming a YouTuber or influencer or blogger. No, just saying. So at least in the beginning. So it has taken us over 2.5 years and tons of work to even get to the place where YouTube is just a little sliver of our income now. So if you're thinking that you want to hit the road and that YouTube and being an influencer or Instagram and TikTok is going to be that income that you have while you're on the road, you just want to be prepared to have something else that is that income source for at least 2 to 3 years while you're building that, and then be ready to have a ton of time going into that as you're building it, if that is your plan, to have that be your new income. And you'll want to make sure you watched or tech report for online counseling. Waiting for the chicken to stop screaming. Okay, are we ready?
Ready.
Okay.
We've been ready. We're rolling.
Hold on. The chicken's doing the chicken dance again.
Chicken.
Okay. Number 6, right?
I think.
We got to do the chicken dance and we got totally distracted is what we were doing. Okay.
Number 6.
The definition of ADD right there. That's like the chicken button. Maybe go give him like some corn. Go give the chickens some corn. Or some like watermelon rinds or something to peck at. Look! I finally found it! Come here. It's the money tree.
Show the money.
So everything that we just talked about, I do have over on our blog, and there'll be a link for that below, or you can just go to gratefulglamper.com and click the blog tab. Links and resources for all of these ideas will be over there for you as well. So you can bookmark that and even come back to it later. You'll have to let us know in the comments if you're currently working from the road and what it is that you're doing while you're out there working. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you found this content helpful. I'm gonna put a couple of videos that I think you might like right up here and right up here. Don't forget to check out the website here. And if you would like to become a Grateful Glamper Insider, you can check that out right over here. If we don't see you at the campground or on the road, we'll definitely see you in the next video.